YouTube. Well, I think I'm about on time. 2:17, that's not too bad. I know one of the announcements said 2 o'clock, but you know, when you schedule a YouTube live stream in YouTube on the main computer that I have, it gives you half-hour increments. It doesn't give you 15-minute increments. So I had a choice of 2 o'clock or 2:30. I couldn't type in 2:15. So I put in 2 o'clock. So I thought people would rather be early than to miss half of it if they wanted, or some of it if they wanted to come. So welcome, welcome to my kitchen again, and we're cooking dinner. Let's see. Gilla goes. I didn't see that very clearly. I don't have anyone to read my comments today. Go in there to tell them to come here. Yes, please do. Right click on my name on my iPad. Let me just click. Oh, maybe. Let me just hit your name, see what happens. Oh, Jody. I can. Ta-da! You're a moderator, Jode. Good. Now I know how to do it here. I go by Galena. Hi. Okay, good. Thanks, Galena, for straightening that out for me. Okay, Marie says hello from South Jersey. And Jody feels so important because I gave her a wrench. She's a wrench wench now. Okay, today for dinner, I am cooking red beans and rice. So that can be vegetarian or vegan for those who need to cook for or are themselves like a vegetarian or vegan. I have a daughter who's vegan, so I make this for her quite often. And let's see, what did that just say about? Hello, Bandana Gramma from Northern Michigan. Hello, Barb. Glad to have you here. Learned about you from Tara. Good, Galena. Tara's a good friend. Anna, can you read? Can you read me, Grandma? I can see you, Anna. Okay, and Suburban has a wrench. I gave a lot of people wrenches yesterday, and I don't know for sure if they're going to automatically have them or not. I like your hair on the side. Well, thank you, Laura. And Ashley, hello. Teasers, pleasers, hello, welcome. All right, I'm going to get started. I really wish I had someone here to read the comments because I'm going to miss a lot while I'm cooking and have to go back and go over them again. But we'll do the best we can with what we got, right? So what am I going to start with? I've got cornbread, I've got apple crisp, and I have the red beans and rice. I think I'm going to start with the cornbread and get that in the oven. So down we go to the table here. Now this recipe, if you've seen me make it before on another video, you'll know the story, but I'm going to tell it again. I came up with this recipe when I was raising my 7 kids, and we lived on very little money for a long time. And cornbread was something I could make, and it wasn't too expensive. But I didn't always have butter and margarine in the house. And this one day I wanted to make cornbread, and I didn't have butter or margarine, but I had oil. So I tried making it with oil, and it turned out really good. And I kind of adjusted the ingredients some. And then I stopped making it when the kids got bigger because we were watching our weight, and this is not a diet-friendly recipe. So I stopped making it for a while, and I lost the recipe. And it was lost for a long time. And then the kids would come after they had left the house and had families of their own. This is 1 cup of cornmeal. And they'd ask me to make it, and I didn't have my recipe. I'd try, and it didn't come out the same. 1 cup of all-purpose flour. So a few years later, my mom passed away, and I got her recipe box. And in that recipe box was a recipe in her handwriting where she had asked me for this because my dad loved the cornbread I made. And so I found it and I tried it, and this was indeed the recipe I had been looking for. So I would say thanks, Mom, for giving me back my recipe. Okay, cup of flour, cup of cornmeal, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, that should have been half a teaspoon because I'm having the recipe, so I'm going to take a little bit of this out so it isn't too salty, and hope I don't get too much of the baking powder out. Live stream, it happens. All right, Susan, you are having this recipe, don't forget. Oh, I also doubled the salt, so it's okay if I took some of that out. So it's half a teaspoon of salt. All right, let's see if I did it right. Cup of flour, cup of cornmeal, tablespoon of baking powder, that's all right. Half a teaspoon of salt. All right, that was right. Now, bowl 2, a couple of eggs. Let me get my whisk. Beat up these eggs. We serve this with chili a lot too. Okay, I'm going to use another whisk for the dry ingredients because I got the first whisk wet. So we'll mix together the dry ingredients, baking powder, cornmeal, flour, and salt. All right, now to these eggs, I am going to add a cup of sugar, a half a cup, I'm having it, that's half a cup of sugar, and a half, let me see, a little more than half a cup of oil. So I'll say an overflow half a cup of oil. Right, now I want to beat this so we cream together the sugar and the oil. And I'm going to pick it up because it's easier than having it on the table. Shaking the table all over. This apron I'm wearing, it's reversible, and it was made by Mama Donna from Old Times New Ways channel. She had put it on an auction, a fundraising auction for another channel, and I bid on it and won the bid, so I'm really happy to have this apron. And when I have my giveaway, which I keep promising you and I haven't done it yet, but it'll be soon, she's making one to donate to that too, where this one has navy blue in the background. It's going to be exactly the same, except the background's going to be black. And the reverse will be black with little polka dots. So when I have my giveaway, somebody will be getting an apron like this. Okay. Yes, Old Ways, New Times is a great channel. Mama Donna and all. Really nice. Back to the food. I'm going to put a cup of milk in with the eggs and the sugar and the oil. And then all that gets dumped into the dry ingredients. And we'll stir that up. Now let me go through in my head and make sure I just halved everything. Yes, I have the eggs, I have the oil, I have the sugar. Yep, that's all right. And I have the milk. Now what I didn't get out was my muffin tin, so let me get that. oil to grease my muffin tin. And I'm so short, I gotta get a stool to get up on my counter, over my counter, to get my coconut oil. Okay. Sorry about that. So I got just a little bit left in this one, but it'll be enough to grease the pans. You can use butter or coconut oil. Or whatever you like to use to grease your pans. They say these temptation ware ceramic pans don't need to be greased, that they're naturally non-stick. Let me turn the oven on. I'm going to put the oven on 400. But just to be sure, I like to grease them anyway. Alright, now I'll fill the muffin tins and let them sit a little bit, so maybe they will rise up just enough to get a nice dome on them before I cook them. Fill them about 3/4 full. And I'll wait till the oven comes to temp before I put these in. Okay, I'll save this for another one. Alright, so there, the corn muffins are done. I'm going to wash my hands. Now I'll read the comments, and then I'll come back to make the red beans and rice. All right, comments. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Is everyone getting buffering on the video? Oh, okay, it looks like it's just Laura. Yeah, try refreshing, Laura. All right. And Barb, good with bean and ham soup too, yep. Cornbread, I like cornbread in milk when the cornbread is still warm. Yum. Hi, Sandy. Kayla. Retired and prepping. All right. I came here to subscribe to you guys. I don't think he did. The muffin tin is so pretty. What a beautiful pan. Thank you. I love your muffin pan. Thank you. That's from QVC sells this line called Temptations. I don't buy it on QVC TV because they're expensive, but when we go to Lancaster, they have an outlet up there, and that's when I get it. Okay. Tellurania has the Texas muffin pans. Temptations. Yeah, that's a ceramic pan. Of course, I missed the cornbread part. Tell you what, I'll try to remember to put the recipe down below in the description. Okay, she has the chicken bowls red she found on Etsy. I thought the pan came from QVC. I've seen them on there. They are so pretty. Yeah, I love the blue ones. I have a few different items with that print on it. Okay, let's get over and do the red beans and rice. Turn my pan on. I'll put a little oil in the pan. Oops, that was a little more than I wanted. Oh, sorry, you can't see. There. All right. A little oil in the pan. Now I went ahead and prepped my veggies in these little bowls here, so they're all ready. You don't have to watch me chop them. These bowls, I got a set of 5 of these glass bowls from that place, Holler.com, I think it's called. And I like them because I don't want to use plastic so much anymore. Now, the lids aren't wonderful. The lids aren't like waterproof or anything. They just got these little tabs to clip them on. But for prepping food and all, and you can put them in the fridge and they'd be fine. But you just wouldn't trust them for liquids or anything. But I got a set of 5 of these. They go down to like this size. They're not big. This is the biggest one. And it was $3 for all of them on holler.com. That's also where I got, whoops, here it is. It's also where I got canning funnel. Can you see that canning funnel? For $1. I got 3 of them so I could give some away on a giveaway. It was only $1. Holler.com. So if you hit right, you can get some good deals there. And there's a link down below if you like that kind of thing. All right. We're going to put in here onion. I got the onion covered up good because it was strong. 1 onion chopped into the pan. Then it says 1 green pepper chop, but I love colored peppers, so I'm going to put in about the equivalent of 1 pepper, but I'm using all different colors because it's so pretty. Then I also have 2 stalks of celery that I chopped up. Let's see if I can get that to go darker. All right, 2 stalks of celery. Isn't that pretty? And I got 1 clove of garlic that I chopped up. That's going in there. Minced up. And I like to let these cook a while so the rich flavor comes out as they get close to caramelizing. You know, my daughter that I said was a vegan, she commented on the depth of flavors that the red beans and rice had for her. And I think it's because I took the time to let these cook slow enough that the caramelization happened and the flavors got richer. Another time I used a crock pot and I let them go in there for a while before I added the ingredients, and really made a difference in the depth of the flavor. Alright, while that's doing its thing, let me check the comments again. Okay. Yep, QVC pans. Right. We're going to Lancaster tomorrow for our Valentine's weekend. So we'll be traveling up tomorrow, and I'm going to go to my favorite fabric outlet up there, Zink's Fabric Outlet in Goodville, Pennsylvania, up in Lancaster County. And we'll probably go over to that big smorgasbord. I can't remember the name of it, but it's right near there. And we'll hit some thrift shops and some Amish shops, and we're going to see a show. My husband loves the oldies music, and Tommy James and the Shondells, and who else? Somebody else is going to be there. He's all excited about that, so we're going to the American Music Theater to see that concert. Dawn says her cleaning fairies are out of breath. Yeah, I know how that goes. That's funny. Somebody wrote me before and she said, my cleaning fairies were killed by the dust bunnies. That made me laugh. Here I am procrastinating, watching you work. Took the tips from living on a dime to do in between shows or commercials. Yeah, you know, when I was cleaning my house after working a full day, when I used to work full time, I worked from home, but I was a medical transcriptionist, and I would work 8 to 10 hours a day doing that. And I just wanted to veg at night, and there was just things that had to be done. So I made myself say, because I'd sit in front of the TV and want to veg, and I'd say, every time a commercial comes on, I'm going to get up and do something. I mean, how hard can it be to do it during a commercial? And it might have taken 3 or 4 commercials for all the dishes to get done and the table to be wiped, but it happened, and that helped me. I just had to do it in those little bites because that's the way I was wired, that it didn't feel like too much, and it got done. When your cleaning fairies are all done, you can send them to my kitchen. Yeah, I think there's a long list of people want me to send my fairies. Now would be a good time to have smell-o-vision. Now would be a good time to stir it, too. They do smell wonderful. But I'm not going to rush it because, like I said, I want that deep flavor to come out. So I'm going to let it cook low and slow there for a while. And there's my phone, but we're going to let it ring. Fabric and food. Can't go wrong there. Fabric, food, and music. Right. Sometimes we see a dinner theater. There's the Dutch Apple Dinner Theater up there, and of course there's that wonderful Sight and Sound Theater. That's not dinner, but that's a beautiful, they're expensive, but they're well worth it. It's nice to see a show like that. Good thing I had lunch, making me hungry otherwise. I'm waiting for the new show, Jesus at Sight and Sound. We just got notice that that was coming out. Yeah, they have wonderful programs there. Baking Diva, hello. Tammy Carr, hello. Dawn, hello. If I didn't say hello before, it's just me, Sarah. I think I said hello to Sarah. Carrie. It looks like Vintage Crystal is going to watch for a minute. She's busy today. I love Lancaster, says Sharon. So do I. We go up there several times a year. Okay, back to the food. I love colorful food. Making it pretty. All right, what's next here? Now we're going to flavor all this, and we're going to put in a tablespoon of soy sauce. There's a tablespoon of soy sauce. Now this is my own recipe that I came up with, just like the cornbread is my own recipe. I am putting together a cookbook. It's not going to be out soon. It'll take a little while for me to get it done. But Tara was very inspirational and told me, do it. So I'm typing it up as I go. Let's see. A half a teaspoon of allspice. And there's a half a teaspoon of allspice. A quarter teaspoon of turmeric. Let's see. That looks like what's left in there. There's the turmeric. And 1 teaspoon of Italian. ¼ teaspoon of ginger. 1/8. And another 1/8 makes 1/4. So we get, oh, that smells so good. Wow. That really smells good. So we get all those flavors into the veggies. And now we want the beans to get all those flavors through them. So, into the mix, you put beans. I'm going to drain these just a bit. These are my home canned beans. There's a pint of kidney. There's a pint of black beans. Again, with the colors, it just makes it look pretty to have all different colors. A pint of the white beans. These are navy beans. You want to get all the flavors through there, all those spices. Okay, and I have another pint of black beans, and they're going in too. Now this little recipe book I have down here that I'm looking at, this was put out in our community, and I had volunteered or donated this recipe from my recipes, so that's why I'm reading out of a book. But this is mine. All right, I'm going to turn it back up now and let that go a little. And while that's happening, I'm going to get the rice going. So we'll let these flavors mingle. Turn it down to medium-low. And I'm going to let you see me put the rice together. 2 cup rice. And I do rinse it and polish it before I use it. This is brown rice, which is what I usually use. This gets a little extra starch off it, especially with the brown rice. I like to do that. Okay, and then we're going over to where I'm going to have a rice cooker. About getting the rice cooker out, and the inner chamber is in the fridge with last night's rice in it. So I'm gonna have to empty that. I got some leftover rice and broccoli in here. I always forget something on my live streams. Okay, and now I gotta rinse this out. Then we can make the rice. Okay, it's done. Over to the rice cooker. I'll bring you over. right, into the pot goes 2 cups of rice. And to that, I'm going to add the rest of the peppers. Make the rice pretty. Because afterward, I'm going to have leftover rice. I won't be using it all in the red beans and rice. It'd be nice to have some of the peppers in here for that. All right, I'm going to put in a teaspoon of salt. Teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to put in a little more than 4 cups of water. It's a little more than double is what I usually put in for brown rice. And for water, I'm going to take it out of my new Berkey. I love this Berkey. It does such a fabulous job purifying the water. It isn't just a filter, it's a purifier. Kills viruses and everything. But the difference in the taste of our water is phenomenal. Okay. Right, you could use stock, but I'm using water. Okay. I think I'll put some pepper in. Okay, lid goes on. And we turn on the cooker. Now I'm going to move that over because I've got my apple crisp ingredients ready to go here. All right, now I got to stir the beans. They're bubbling away. Turn it down more. Yeah. These are starting to stick ever so slightly on the bottom. So I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients now. And turn it down. Okay. Now to this, I'm going to add, oh, you know what I forgot with my ingredients? One of the most important things. 4 tablespoons of chili powder. That should have gone in with all the spices. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tablespoons of chili powder and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Oh yeah. How did I forget that? Get that stirred in. Then we'll add the tomato sauce. All right, I'm adding half a can of these crushed tomatoes. This is 28 ounces. I'm putting about half a can in. So a cup or a little more than a cup. And of course later, I might want to add more. You know what, as I look at this, the recipe says that I had put in 2 cups of tomato sauce and 2 cups of water. I think I'm going to add all the tomato sauce and a cup of water. from my Berkey. There we go. Now we'll let this come back up to a simmer and cook slow. Okay, see if I clean up some of my mess. Excuse me. All right, now we're going to go over and we're going to take a look at how to make the apple crisp. But first I'm going to check your comments again. Let's see. All right, I think I'm back to where I left off last time. Talking about Lancaster. You don't have commercials. The work will have to wait. That's funny, Francis. Okay, Nancy, I have to go and run and do a couple of errands in the snow. Have fun, everyone. Well, she's probably gone, but bye, Nancy. Zook's is my favorite shop for quilting fabric. Great variety and reasonably priced. The roads are awful wherever they are. Where are you, Vicki? Ohio, aren't you? Or is it Michigan? Yes, do it. I collect cookbooks. I will. I'll get the cookbook written. Tumeric's supposed to help pain too. Hi, Mary. Ginger for inflammation of the kidneys. Yep, all those spices are good for something. I came in late. What is she making? Red beans and rice, cornbread, and apple crisp. There you go. That looks so good. Grandma, I have a large wool. This is vintage crystal. Grandma, I have a large blue and black polka dot shawl to send you for mittens. I'm so allergic to wool I cannot use it. Could you use it? Of course I could. And you know I love polka dots. That would be wonderful. Thank you, Crystal. I'm going to make hot water cornbread today. Clean as you go. I do too. I try. Does your husband have kin to people? Oh, I think you're talking to somebody else about Robinson. Okay. I love your backsplash in the kitchen. You know, if you were watching yesterday, I was telling you about how I designed my kitchen around my table and chair set, and I had acted as my own contractor and got my own. I went out and found all the pieces, parts, and supplies and building materials, and I found these counters. They're just 12 by 12 tiles. They're not slab because slab was like thousands of dollars more than buying the tiles. And when I was talking to the contractors, one of them, I told him I wanted the backsplash to go all the way up to the cabinet with the granite. And he says, you don't do that. You only put it up a foot and then you put your wallboard up there. And well, that's not what I want. He says, well, yeah, you do, you know. And they went into the whole thing about what other people expect again. He didn't do my kitchen either. He wouldn't listen to me. It has a 50s look, your kitchen does. Yes, it's a lot of it is 1940s. My table and chairs are actually from the 1940s, and I've recovered some of it. Super, I'm so happy to give it away. Is it frozen? Mine's all right. Well, I hope it stopped if it was. All right, come back over here to do the apple crisp. Now this recipe again is from Tara's book, Dining on a Dime. Great cookbook. There it is right there, apple crisp. It's on page 285. I know a lot of people have Tara's book. And a lot of money-saving recipes in there. And there's a link below if you'd like to order a copy of your own. Apple crisp. So this is the first time I've made her recipe. I'm changing it up a little bit because I'm using what I have. You know what Bandana Grandma always says, when you don't have the thing you want, you use the thing you got. And she calls for 6 apples peeled and sliced. Well, I just popped open a jar of my home canned apples. And so I spread out my apples here. These are slightly sweetened because I put them in an extra light syrup when I can them. Not much sugar at all, but just a touch. So what Tara says to add is 1 cup of brown sugar. So that's what I have here. Let me see if she wants me to mix them all together. Okay, yeah, I'm going to put these. Let me get another little bowl. Forgot something else, a little bowl. Goes brown sugar. 1 cup of brown sugar. A 1/2 cup of oatmeal. That's here. That should darken up. And it's not. Why not? Used to. All right, 1/2 cup of oatmeal. 1/2 cup of flour. A 1/3 of a cup of butter or margarine softened. No, it's a 1/2 cup. So that's a whole one of these. And you know what? This isn't quite softened enough, I don't think. Maybe it is. Maybe I can mash it down. Let me put it in small pieces and then see if I can mash it around in there. That ought to work. I might have to do it with the finger squeeze method to mix it in, because it wasn't quite warm enough. Then the heat of my fingers will melt the butter some more. Okay, I got one hand dirty. I'll use the other one to check the chat. Froze. Is it still froze? Offline. Picture is fuzzy. Froze. Back but buffering. Sorry. Oh dear, that darn buffering. That's the net for you. It keeps buffering and freezing even after I've refreshed and rebooted. That's the net. Okay. Thank you, Suburban, saying I'm worth the wait. Well, I don't know. Let me know if it comes back, folks. All right, I think it's combined. That's going to work. I just don't know if you're all there. It'll clear up eventually. Hope so. Can you hear me, or is it just the picture? Can you hear my voice, or is that gone too? All right, I mixed up the topping, and that did just fine with my hand. Both. Oh, what a shame. Oh, somebody said just the pics. Sound is fine. All right, well, I'm putting the camera down. So this will be our apple crisp. I'm just going to love this. You know, the other day it was all fuzzy too, and then it cleared up. I don't know what causes it. I've got all my other live streams shut off on my other computer. I don't have any streaming on my TV going on. I just reserved it all for this, hoping that would do it. I can pay an extra $5 or $6 a month and get the next speed up on my Wi-Fi streaming, and I just might do that because if this happens often, it'd be worth it to me to have, I mean, if that made a difference. Okay, there's the apple crisp, ready to go in the oven. It says 350, serve 6, 45 minutes until apples are tender, which they are, and the top is crisp. Well, I don't have to worry about the apples being tender. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put these in the oven. The cornbread and the apples. I got it on 400, but I'm going to shut it down to 350. Okay. So that's in. Well, either the two people I got rid of were the ones that were going to cause trouble, or my moderators are doing a good job keeping them out of the chat because I haven't seen anything. Whereas yesterday, I guess there was quite a bit of problem. I already put a filter on. When I set up my YouTube channel, I have this thing where you can put a filter on for language, and you can put in there any words you don't want anybody being able to type. I had to type every swear word I ever thought of in there, so that's what I did. So hopefully if somebody wanted to say those words, it wouldn't allow it because they'd be blocked. So I was hoping that would help. Hey, Sharon, Bomba Grits. So that was strange for me, but I did it. Is it still blurry? Video is freezing and pixelating. Why does it do that? Let me try something. I did find one other thing running in the office. I don't know if that'll make any difference or not. Hello, Roseanne. Rosanna? I know swear words. I remember way back in high school, the boys used to say nasty words. Yeah, I know a few. My kids will tell you I don't use them. Yum, you're going to have a wonderful dinner. Yep. On earlier, but he's gone. We talking about a troll? I don't know. With the wrench? Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. We can keep an eye on the beans while she's gone. That's right. Hi, it's blurry still. Oh, that's just so terrible. It's so clear on my screen. And I hate thinking it's all pixelated and blurry for you. I wonder if I should shut down and come right back on, if that would help. What do you think? Anybody got anybody computer savvy that might have, where's the swear jar? Sometimes it clears up on the replay. Yeah, that's true. No, don't shut down. Hi, Susie. Just got you live. Yeah, it's all blurry, they're telling me. It wasn't in the beginning, but now it is. You need Mike. Yeah, Mike or Daryl. Daryl from Two Family is pretty much a computer guru. Someone did that and couldn't get back on live. Oh, well, that wouldn't be good. Okay. Should I lay hands on my. Come on, get better. Put my finger on the screen and hold it there and see if that works. Wouldn't that be funny if that's all it took? Hocus pocus. I think laying hands on it is better. Maybe it's your electricity in you. Yeah. Okay. We're going back over to look at the beans. I don't know if you can see them if it's still blurry. And I hate jouncing you around, but there's no way around it. So here's the red beans. The rice is in the rice cooker. I'm going to let this cook a little so it gets a little bit thicker, keeping an eye on it so it doesn't stick to the bottom, making sure it's low enough. And I'm going to taste it because that's a very important part of cooking. Never just trust the recipe. Always taste as you go, because there's all kinds of things that might change how things taste from one time you make it to another. The type of beans I've used, the type of spices I've used. Alrighty, here goes. I usually got a pretty good palate and can tell what it needs. I think it's good. It's strong, but you want that because the rice is going to, you know, make it less strong when you add it to the rice. That's good. I'm not going to do a thing to it. Perfection. Sometimes my antenna needs me by it to get a clear picture. It's really blurry here. Yeah, everybody says it went blurry. It was all right, and then it went blurry. I hope I will see the cornbread recipe. Okay, I'll try and remember to put the cornbread recipe under this video. If I forget, there is another video up that has the recipe on it where I'm making it. Are they smoky beans? It's red beans and rice with lots of spices. There's black beans, navy beans, and kidney beans in here with all kinds of chili powder and turmeric and ginger and a bunch of spices. All clear now. Really? Now see, what did that? I have no clue. That is funny. I am in Maryland, if you're talking to me. Wow. Okay, it's clear now. Yay. Must be from laying hands on it. right. So, the rice is in the rice cooker cooking. The cornbread's in the oven. The apple crisp is in the oven. So that means I'm done cooking. You're gonna have to watch me do a little bit of cleaning up, and then I can sit and chat for a while we're waiting for more things to cook. Hope you're talking among yourselves. I didn't want the last thing you saw in my kitchen to be a total mess. Okay, that'll do me for now. I can do the dishes and sweep the floor later. So let's have a little chat here as I sit. Whew. Still got my mitten mess out there because I'm still sewing mittens. Ooh, okay. Where are we? Okay. It's clear now. Are you in the south? I saw that. Okay. Okay. Now, I was going to make BJTs for dinner. That has to change after watching this. Okay. I am so hungry now. 2. Why do I do this to myself? If I want to purchase a product of yours, can we send a check? Okay, here's the options. Preferred way of paying would be PayPal, or I can send you an invoice and it can be paid with either PayPal or a credit card. I'm happy to take money orders or cashier's checks. And if you write to my email address, which is down below, bandanagramma@gmail.com, but in that respect, bandana has 2 N's at the end, where all the other times it doesn't. But it's down below, you'll see it. You can write me and we'll talk about another option. I'm in St. Mary's County, Maryland. Are you ever this way? St. Mary's County. I don't recall what main towns are around St. Mary's County. I'm in Anne Arundel County. I lived in Baltimore and Glen Burnie, Maryland in the something 80s, 90s. Do you live near there, Bandana Gramma? I'm in Anne Arundel County. In the 50s, okay. In the 50s, I was in Troy, New York as a baby. Okay. I live with Chilly Willies. I guess that means she's cold there. It's cold. Cold. 3 degrees, 48 in Washington State. I wish I could send you all some warmth. 70 here, says just for me, Sarah. Donna Christensen says, maybe your camera did not know what to focus on when it was pointed toward the white cabinets. That might be. I'm not all that savvy about this, so that's something for me to think about to make it focus. But my screen was clear, and I think if it wasn't focusing for that reason, my screen would have been blurry too. So I think it was the internet. It cleared up when you moved the camera over to your stove. Guess it just needed to be jounced around. Your table is so pretty. Thank you. I love this table. I found it, I told them my last live stream yesterday that I found it at a consignment antique shop. It's really from the 1940s, as well as the chairs and that matching hutch right there. They all came together, and they're from the 1940s. I got a steal of a deal on them, and I just designed my entire kitchen around them because I love them so. I'm in the Mechanicsville, Hollywood area near Solomon's Island in Calvert County. Okay. It's still a bit blurry. Remind me of Farmhouse Rules lady on Food Network. I don't think I've seen that. Well, I don't get cable anyway. Jody Malm, it's clear hair here. Oh, that was my sister Jody saying it was a bit blurry. Sorry, Jody, I didn't notice that. Yeah, I love this set. Can't deny it. And when I brought it home, when I was out, we go over to this antique shop quite often, my daughter and I. And, we'll pick up coffee cups or odds and ends. And we mostly just like browsing around and shopping. But I had always wanted a set like this. And I remember my husband and I were at the mall once, and they were having this special antique show in the center of the mall. And they had people setting out all these tables. And they wanted like $700 just for a table. And he was saying, well, someday I'll get you one of those, honey. And I said, oh, no, I just couldn't bring myself to pay $700 for anything like that. So Anyway, years went by, and we were at this antiques mall, and I saw this there, and the seats were ripped up, and the backs were ripped up. But I thought that's an easy fix. You know, the table looked great, the legs had some rust on them, but that would come off, and then the hutch was in good shape. So I told the story yesterday, so if you were here yesterday, forgive me, but because they're asking about the set, I'm going to tell it again. They had $300 on the set, and I thought that's a great price. And but the frugal part of me went to the desk and said, "Could you tell me what the best price is on this set?" And so she called the owner, and the owner said, "Tell her 275." So I got the whole set for 275, and then I think I spent another $200 in materials. And there was an elderly man here who used to do upholstery. I recovered the seats myself, the part I'm sitting on, and the backs, which originally were all this gray here. There was no red on the back. It was all this gray, went over the top and the back. And the tops were just totally ripped up. In fact, I've got a video up showing how I fixed them up, how I refurbished them, reupholstered them. So I brought this to this elderly man who used to do this work, and he told me he would cut this medallion out of the center so I could keep the rose, which, you know, is on the table, and it's on the hutch over there. See the hutch? He'd keep it and let me and applique it on the back so I could keep that because the rest of it was pretty torn up. And he did a great job. He had the machine with the metal working machine that would do a good job sewing it on there. So I let him do that, put the backs back together. But I did all the rest, and I love them. So I designed my entire kitchen around this table set. My mother reupholstered her kitchen set too, and some chairs in her living room. Just floored me that she learned how to do that. That was a great price. Yeah, it was. It was a steal. Your kitchen is beautiful. I love it. It was a long time coming. I love it too. Where this wall is here, this wall that has the pantry, let's see what you're looking at, the pantry and the broom closet, and where that open area is. Well, for all the while we lived here raising the kids, there was a wall right here. This was a solid wall, and this area back here, you'd come up the stairs and you go down a hallway and there was a closet. So we knocked the wall down, we took the closet out and pushed the kitchen all the way back to the stairs. There's a stairwell over here. Let me see if you can tell. See, here I got long windows so all the light comes in, but there's a stairwell down there, and this used to be walled off. So we opened it up and let all that light in and expanded the kitchen and put the cabinets in there. It took me years to come up with that plan, and I did interview a lot of different contractors. I thought I'd be hiring somebody to come in and just design the whole thing, but nope, I ended up designing it. I took bits and pieces of their advice and put it together in the way I wanted it. And I found the perfect guy and his son to come and do all the work for me, and they did just exactly what I wanted. At a great price. He did a great job, and so did you. Yeah, he did a great job. I paid him twice what he asked because he didn't ask for hardly any money at all. And I paid him twice what he asked, and he was so thankful. It's just this older gentleman that, you know, lived very simply. Our mom was skillful like that. She made slip covers for her couches, and they were a perfect fit. That's true. Jody Mom was my sister, so her mom is my mom. And our mom taught herself to do all those kinds of things. And she did a lot of sewing. She sewed a lot of our clothes when we were growing up, and curtains and upholstery and things like that. If it needed doing, she'd do it. She was a marvelous housekeeper, much better than me. You could eat off her floors. And yeah, mom was quite the housekeeper. And you have matching appliances. Very nice. Yeah, I got my appliances, most of them on Craigslist. I told you I'm frugal. This stove here, now if I had my druthers, I'd love to get the reproduction retro looking appliances that would go with the 40s, 50s kitchen. Not in the budget, not even close. So I decided that I would go with black to match the countertops. Could have gone white, except I already had the dishwasher, which was black. So this stove looked brand new when I found it on Craigslist, and I think I paid $300 for it. It wasn't super cheap, but it was, you know, at least half of what you'd have to pay if you bought it new. And the microwave up there, again, same thing. I bought it on Craigslist for like 50 bucks, I think. And my refrigerator, I did buy new at Sears, and I'm not happy with the quality. Sears, it's a Kenmore Elite, and the drawers are just not hefty enough. And I should have known. When I was buying it, I was pulling the drawers out, and I said, these feel kind of light. And the salesperson says to me, oh, don't worry, when you put food in them, they'll feel much heavier. Really? And they did crack and break. There's a lid that's supposed to, there's this big wide drawer that I love that holds, they call party tray drawer, and when you open it, the lid automatically goes up. It's like a plexiglass see-through lid, and then goes back down again when you close it. Well, twice now it's broken, and now I don't even have it on there. Was not a good design. It was a good idea, but the application did not work. Okay. Gowns for weddings. Oh, yes, my mom. I had 10 bridesmaids. I was 18 when I got married, and I just wanted to ask all my friends, because when you're 18, you think you can do anything you want. So I asked my 10 best girlfriends to be my bridesmaids. And I think my mother made 8 of their gowns. She was sewing up a storm. She did pink satin gowns. Susie, please come up here and decorate my house. Envy folks who have that talent. Sarah, my sister and I used to do stuff like that. We were always planning what to make when we met for lunch. Lots of plans drawn on napkins. That's fun. My sister Jody's very creative. If you've heard me talk about her before, the one who's in the chat here, she does all kinds of painting and some sewing and a lot of crochet. A lot of crochet. She's like an expert at crochet. She crochets everything every day. Druthers. If I had my druthers, I think my mom used to say that, and my dad. Same fridge I have. Not impressed either. Yeah. Nope. Not happy with that. The salesperson was very bright. Yeah. Don't worry, they'll be heavier when you put vegetables in the drawers. How long does your cornbread break? Not long. I better check it. Thank you. I think it's perfect. See, just like on Tara's live stream, I need my viewers to remind me of things. I think the cornbread looks good. All right, let me see if it bounces back when I touch it. Yep, it's bouncing back. So it has got golden brown edges. Oops, you called it just in time. Well, can you see that? Okay, that looks great. Cornbread's done. Now we gotta leave the other in here longer. That actually called, I think that called for 45 minutes. And I'm gonna have to stir the beans again, or they're gonna stick. Okay. 'Kay. 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 'K I've already had to replace the drawers. Yep. Guess you should have put more veggies in them, made them heavier. Thanks for showing. I love it. Yes, I heard of a seamstress that was in school. I heard seamstress was a school class in my grandmother's day. Yeah, we had home ec, but we didn't have seamstress. Did she make your gown? Nope. When I got married, my husband and I had met when I was 15 years old. And we dated for 3 years. A couple of breakups, but 3 years we dated. And then he was drafted into the Army and was going to be sent to Vietnam for the war. And it was a very scary time. And we decided, because we were planning on getting married anyway someday, when he got his orders for Vietnam, we said, let's get married before, he said, let's get married before I go. So we got married 2 weeks before he left for Vietnam War and was supposed to be gone a year. So my budget for the wedding was teensy weensy tiny. And my mom and my aunts catered the wedding with all their home recipes. We had the wedding at our local church, so that was no problem. We had the reception down the street at the VFW. And my aunts, like I said, catered it. And we had 4 fellas from my high school. We had just graduated, mind you, I was only 18, who had a band. They came and they were the band for me, and I paid them $50 to come play at my wedding. And when I was shopping for a wedding dress, I ended up finding mine at Montgomery Ward's, and it was all lace with long sleeves and a big train, and it was $50. And that was my wedding dress. And it was the first one I looked at, and I looked around a little more and ended up that was the one I wanted. So it wasn't fancy fabric. It was kind of a cheap fabric. I still have it. And yeah, it's hard to get rid of something like that. So I paid $50 for my wedding dress, and I got a veil. I think that cost, it had a seed pearl little leaves that you fold in, like shapes, like a crown, and a big veil came off, and I think I paid $18 for that. So that was my wedding dress. And for our honeymoon, we left the reception with all the envelopes people had given us, and I had planned on using that money, because we knew people put money in envelopes for your wedding, to go on our honeymoon. And we were taking a bus from upstate New York down to New York City, and we were going to honeymoon in New York City. Why I chose New York City? Well, I know why, because my mom and dad took us there when I was a kid, and I thought it was fancy, we should go to New York City. So I got a cheap hotel, a nice hotel, but I got the cheap room in a nice hotel ahead of time. Didn't have the money for it until we opened the envelopes after our wedding. So we're changing, and my girlfriend, actually, my maid of honor, she's opening, no, she wasn't my maid of honor, but my girlfriend was opening my envelopes, and she's yelling out, Aunt Tilly sent you $10, and she's writing it all down, and I'm changing, and my husband's changing. We're getting ready to go on our honeymoon to catch the bus out of New York, upstate New York. So that's what we honeymooned on, was the money that we got at our wedding. And we were gone 3 days in New York City, and then came back, stayed with my parents for just a week and a half until he left for Vietnam. And he was only there 56 days when he was shot and sent home to recuperate in hospitals and had surgeries and like that. But he's fine. He's fine. So that's our story, part of it anyway. Did she make your gown? So the answer is no. It cost $50 at Montgomery Ward's. I was going to say a Tara moment. Oh, yeah, where you check the muffins? Yes. I love crochet. I do it too. That's love, love. Look scrumptious. Yeah, they do look good, don't they? What is the website you got the set of bowls from? It's down below. It's called Hollar, Hollar. I think you might get a discount if you use that little thing I got down below. So when this goes up as a video, there should be a, like right now it's a live stream, but when this is done, it'll upload as a video, and then down below you'll see Hollar, Hollar, and there'll be a link so you can get a discount. And I might get a couple dollars off too if you use my link. Hello, Sharon Beckman. I'm well, thank you. I can't crochet doilies. Those hooks are too small for my eyes. They probably are for mine now, too. I couldn't fit my right leg in the dress I got married in. Oh, I can't either. And what's funny is the thinnest of my daughters, who is beautiful, we were all amazed. It comes this far from closing on her, and I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure she'd be able to wear it, but she's a lot taller than me. She's 5'7", I think, 5'7.5", 5'7", and I'm only 5'3", so that makes a difference too. I bet you were beautiful. I look back at it now and I think I look pretty good. Back in my wedding. You know what? Um, on my Susie Bandana Facebook page, I'll post a picture of my wedding after this goes up. So you go to my Susie Bandana Facebook page and I'll post a picture of me at my wedding. Popping in to say hello, says Tina. Just love your videos. You're such a sweetheart. Oh, thank you, honey. It makes me feel good. Thank him for his service. Yes. I'm just happy he came back because he almost didn't. I bet that wedding was perfect. Well, it was far from perfect. We were not believers then, and things didn't go as they could have, but we got married. What year was that? That was 1968. This October we'll be married 50 years, and we're having our 50th wedding anniversary. I made 16 crochet angel orchestra and 22 snowflakes for Christmas gifts. Wow. You're beautiful now, too. You're so sweet. You're kind. Who got you into doing YouTube videos? Well, I have to admit, growing up, I was kind of a ham. Aunt Jody, or my sister Jody, will attest to that. I used to sing, and I was in a couple of bands, and I enjoyed singing and being on stage. I did. So it's funny, I'm shy in some ways, but the persona I can take on when I'm in front of a camera or on stage, I can do it if my mindset is right. And so it wasn't too scary for me to think about, like right now I'm all alone in this house and I got this camera in front of me and I'm talking to the camera and I'm portraying, I know you folks are there, but if you met me in person and we were in a room and there was a crowd of you, I'd be a little taken back because it's different. It's different than feeling at home in your own house and talking to people. I can be real, and all that. I'm a little hesitant and taken aback a little, and I need to get to know people some before I open up as much as I do like here. So I'm just being truthful. I think a lot of people are like that. Congratulations, golden couple. Okay, so what happened with the videos was I used to like to garden, but I didn't think I could do much because I live up in suburbia and I only have a small plot of land. And I saw this video of the Gervais family in Pasadena, California, where he had less land than me and he was growing a ton of food because he put it everywhere and vertical and every nook and cranny. He built all kinds of boxes and went up the extra driveway, but he went everywhere. I didn't want to do that, but it showed me what could be done. And he actually grew all the food for his family, pretty much, and he sold it to restaurants in that itty bitty piece of land. It inspired me. I started looking at homesteading videos, and I wanted to do. I did it more or less because I had a great desire to share this type of thing with the homesteading things and the gardening and the canning and the cooking and my sewing and everything. And in my neighborhood, there's some people, but it wasn't the same. When I saw everybody online doing it, I said, I'm going to do that. So I did. And that's how I got into YouTubing. I just put up a couple of videos and I started getting some views. Now, I have a series called My Faith Journey, and that's my serious part of my videos. And that, for those who were interested in that, it got a great reception and has done a lot of good. And that encouraged me to keep going. And there was a couple of big channels who saw those and asked me to come on their channel and be interviewed, or they gave me a big shout out because of those videos. And I'm very thankful that they're being used like that. So that's kind of my story there. Okay. Congratulations, golden couple. Congratulations on such a long marriage. That story's in that My Faith Journey too, because we had our problems with our marriage and raising 7 kids, but the Lord was gracious and we got through it. Let's see. We were married in November of 1966. Okay, so 2 years longer, longer than I. My grandparents and parents are gone. It's so nice to learn from others now on YouTube. That's right, it is. Yep. I think my husband's home. So I'm going to have to get going. Is that you, honey? Yes. It's my husband. I'm live streaming. I just cooked dinner. So, all right, that's my husband coming home. And I'm going to have to say goodbye. I will put a picture of our... You're welcome for the chat. I'll put a picture of my meal that we're having. I can't put it on a live video because I don't think I can add pictures to it, but I can put it on my Facebook page. So if you go to Susie Bandana, it'll be on there, and I'll get a picture of the dinner up. Thank you so much. Bye, Grandma and all. Sharon Beckman was married December 1st, 1968. Thank you for the chat. Bye-bye. Thanks for cheating with me? What? I have enjoyed this so much. Thanks so much for sharing. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Come back again. I'm going to try and do this as often as I can. If I'm feeling good and I'm feeling kind of confident and not too taken aback when I'm making dinner, I'll turn the camera on and we'll do this. Bye-bye, everyone. Please hit the thumbs up as you go out. That helps a lot. When this goes up as a video, come back and leave a comment. That helps me a lot. And I'll see you all later. Bye.